CBS News, expected to settle this lawsuit, begging to settle this lawsuit, and staffers are furious. So this news first came out just last week, but the new development is they just had to turn over the transcripts in that Kamala Harris interview. So they really, really want to settle this thing. It's in part because Paramount's in the middle of this other deal. Paramount is the parent company of CBS. And, Donald Trump, he's not messing around. I mean, he is trying to sue these guys for $10 billion, which would be $2 billion more than parent company Paramount is actually even worth. And it has to do, you see, with this little clip that got leaked out. Some of you guys were asking me last week, well, how did you get your hands on that? I mean, it wasn't difficult. CBS, stupidly, really stupidly, broadcast the first version of this clip with Kamala Harris in which the correspondent is interviewing her and asks her a simple question on Israel, which she cannot clearly answer. And then by the time they got from Face the Nation, where it originally aired, to 60 Minutes on Sunday night, the whole thing had been edited down so that she sounded like she was some kind of Rhodes Scholar. And Donald Trump's like, yeah, you know what that is? It's election interference. And I'm putting a $10 billion lawsuit on you for it. Here, take a look at the original clip.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Kind of different, don't you think? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But, this is what they had a history of doing. Don't forget, we can go back to Leslie Stahl when she was interviewing Donald Trump about that now infamous laptop, which we have since learned the FBI was investigating at the time, the Hunter Biden laptop, the really, really disgusting laptop that nobody was allowed to report on because that was misinformation, false information. A new email coming out over the weekend related to that. I'm going to bring it to you. But first, watch Leslie Stahl. Okay, Leslie Stahl's 60 Minutes icon. She's been there, I don't know, like since I was born. Okay, here she is with Donald Trump saying, well, we can't report on that. We're 60 Minutes. And he's like, Leslie, this is real. I mean, if you did any reporting, you might actually figure.
This is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie.
You know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake in the media?
Yeah.
You said to me, I say that because I need to discredit you, so that when you say negative things about me, no one will believe
I don't have to discredit you.
But that's what you told me.
You've discredited yourself.
You told me that.
Leslie, you've discredited yourself. When you say that you're not going to cover Biden, you're going to ask him what flavor ice cream he has, okay?
That's not
Instead
me.
of why did Hunter get $3.5 million from Moscow? Instead of why is an energy company paying your son $183,000 a month or whatever they're paying him, and he has no experience in energy, you discredit yourself. I don't have to discredit you.
So this story about Hunter and his laptop, some repair shop found it. The source is Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know anything about that. I just know it's a laptop, and they haven't.
And you're making this one of the hottest, most important issues in your rallies.
It's a very important issue to find out whether or not a man's corrupt who's running for president, who's accepted money from China and from Ukraine and from Russia.
All these
I think
things
that's
have
an
been
important issue.
investigated and
It's incredible the way you can try and say this and sit there and look me in the eye and say it. He accepted money, his family, from Russia, from Ukraine, from China, and from other places. His brother, who didn't have experience, became a big builder in Iraq without experience. Take a look at what's going on, Leslie. And then you say that shouldn't be discussed.
I'm saying
it's the biggest scandal out there, Leslie, and you don't cover it.
Because it can't be verified.
You want to talk about insignificant things.
I'm telling you.
Of course it can be verified. Excuse me, they found the laptop. Leslie.
Can't be verified.
What can't be verified?
The laptop.
Why do you say?
I mean, unbelievable, right? She just sat there. She couldn't verify it, but it turns out New York Post verified it. She just, she's in bed with the 51X spooks, I guess. They were all singing their song and dance, and here's proof of it. This just came out. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this. This is from John Brennan, dated Monday, October 19th, 2020. Letter to sign. It's from Mike Morrell. And he says, okay, Mike, add my name to the list. Good initiative. Thanks for asking me to sign on. This is after John, he had written, I guess, to him. This is from John to Mike. Mike had written to John, I should say, can I add your name to the list? We'll be adding Leon Panetta, Sue Gordon, Jay Johnson, George, Lisa Monaco, Mike Rogers today, and working on adding Dan Coates, the other Mike Rogers, and Tom Bossert. And lots of other IC career folk. And then this is really important. He said, trying to give the campaign, particularly during the debate on Thursday, a talking point to push back on Trump on this. So they lied. I mean, just flat out lied. Like, these people have absolutely no scruples. Isn't that a little bit gross? Unbelievable. I'm just looking at a super chat from Steve Frischman. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your generosity. We can talk about that a little bit later. Letitia James, oh my goodness, she's standing in the way of anything Donald Trump wants to do. And you're right. Like, it's just, listen, you know what? The federal government has the power. Whether Letitia realizes that or not, Steve, you're right. The federal government has the power, and it's going to be a mess. But back to 60 Minutes, because they are in trouble, okay? They're going down. They're going to have to pay a massive amount of money. I don't know. The company's not really loaded. When I went to work there, and this wasn't that long ago, okay? Like, maybe I'm dating myself a little bit, but this was like 2004. They had rotary dial phones. They still had rotary dial phones. And then, like, you go into someone's office to do a call on a speakerphone, and it was like the old Charlie's Angels. Remember from the 1970s speakerphone? So, not to mention the offices themselves. I mean, this is like Class D space. It was an old milk company, I guess, factory that had been redone. So they're not necessarily flush with cash. Paramount has a little bit more. I mean, they could afford to broadcast the Grammys, right? We're going to get to that. And Beyonce's big win, but they don't, they want to move forward. They know that that's a dying business. 60 Minutes, like, who watches that anymore? I mean, you probably watch more 60 Minutes on this show because I show you clips than you ever see. I mean, it just doesn't exist. It's appointment television really is not a thing anymore. Maybe appointment YouTube, maybe appointment streaming, because this is live, it's spontaneous, I haven't edited anything, and I may just say anything. I've been known to. Kind of gets me in trouble now and then. Quick reminder, make sure you subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff, so that when I'm here every day. Hit the bell and you'll really, really know. But the CBS staffers, they're furious, right? Because, like, we're journalists and we have to safeguard our interview with Kamala Harris because, yeah, we probably absolutely did do all kinds of who knows what to slice and dice that thing and make her sound like she was some kind of PhD, which, clearly she wasn't. And she couldn't really even speak articulately enough in a full sentence, so much that they had to do this. They wouldn't have given the same, shall we say, opportunity or goodwill to Donald Trump. You know that. I know that. Producers, the place is run by a bunch of old people that used to be hangovers from the Vietnam era. You think Dan Rather, right? This is not the Walter Cronkite Network anymore. But I'll tell you, even if this happens, they're not out of the woods, because Brendan Carr over at the FCC, he means business. And all of these networks, we've talked about it on this show, they are in trouble. In fact, Brendan's using, if you would, he's using these lawsuits against them. That's amazing, right? He's like, okay, you, ABC, you just had to pay $16 million, $1 million to the lawyers, $15 million to Trump's library, and that's proof. You see, that's proof that you know that you did something wrong. In that particular case, they labeled Donald Trump a heinous term that, by the way, no judge had actually said. He had never been convicted of the things that they were accusing him of. And George Stephanopoulos, the guy who hosts the big signature weekend program there, Sundays, This Week, with George Stephanopoulos, a former Clinton guy, I should point out, he said this, even though his producers over and over and over again said, you can't say that. He did it anyway. And so Brandon's like, maybe we don't really need to be giving the ABC affiliation to all the affiliates around the country because, you guys between Georgie Boy and Whoopi Goldberg, who's trying to play it really clean because I think her days are somewhat numbered there, none of these guys are out of the woods. So Brendan is now going to have ammunition to go after CBS. And listen, you just can't be that flagrantly flying in the face of, disregarding truth. And that's what they did. Whether it be what happened with the laptop, whether it be what happened with Russia, whether it be just hating on Trump all the time. 99% of the coverage and Media Research Center has done this diligence to figure this one out. What they have concluded is that these networks are 99% negative on Donald Trump, 99% positive on the other side. So it's like, guys, don't pretend anymore, all right? We know exactly who you are, what and what this is about.